Do you think this kind of mindset, like the business mindset, is something that you grow into or something that you're born with?
I think you were born with it. Because even if you're surrounded by it all the time, like if you take siblings, for example, there's some siblings that are like, they're both entrepreneurial and that's great. But then there's people that are like, you grow up with the same background, looking at the same things, but some just have it and some just don't. So I feel like you're born with it. Entrepreneurs are the worst employees to have because you can't put them in their place. You can't tell them what to do. Like their mind just wants to do it the way they want to do it. I either need to create something really cool in Cyprus or I need to go as far away as possible. I showed up to the municipality, had a meeting with them, everything sounded great, but they were like, oh, it's a new event. We need to, basically they said, you get the last pick. Around December, I got my acceptance into UCLA and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. 1 week later, get an email from the municipality. Your license has been approved. Where I thought I had no options, I now have 2 options and everyone was telling me I need to pick. Me being me, I was like, I'm not gonna pick, I'm gonna do both. Those 3 months, I was in LA doing the course, working because a part of my course was a placement at New Balance and also planning Heatwave. So it was an intense 3 months, let's say. Everyone was like, it's not possible, you're delusional, what are you doing? And I was like, well, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, in the beginning they called you delusional and then they called you genius, right?
Exactly.
Not knowing how will something turn out, it's much worse than trying and not succeeding,
Exactly.
you know? And because when you try and you don't succeed, at least you know what went wrong and you can try again, you can pivot things and eventually it will work, you know? But if you didn't try and you stayed in the what if,
you never know. Every failure is one step closer to success. So fail more, succeed more.
Connie, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I wanted to have this conversation a long time now. You are young, but you've done a lot of things so far in your life, very impressive things, I would say. And you are in a sector that I like as well, the wellness sector, the fitness sector. And I want to hear a lot of things about you, how you chose this path, how you end up doing all these things and what drives you. So thank you for coming to our podcast.
Thank you for having me. And it's very relevant. We are into the same things. I think we're both into that mindset. So it's the perfect place to come and speak. So thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. So I'm going to start with the same question I ask everybody. If somebody, you meet somebody in the street or somewhere and they ask you about you, what's the first thing that you tell them?
Whenever someone asks me what I do, I kind of laugh because I do 100 different things at the same time. But let's just say I'm a fitness enthusiast. I run a fitness festival called Heatwave. I also have recently gotten into a longevity clinic called AION. What else do I do? I started off as a marketeer. So I started off just doing the marketing, then got into doing my own stuff, and then became kind of an all-rounder. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, let's put it that way.
Okay. And you have the One Shot as well, right?
Yes. So I started off with One Shot. One Shot was my first business idea, which started off as a boxing glove brand oriented towards women. Why? Because I was into boxing. I also had really long nails, which some things don't change, but I wanted to create something for women where they can also be themselves while training properly and not being conflicted by that. So I started One Shot with boxing gloves. Then it became more towards the clothing, the boxing shorts. It then switched completely into a fashion label, which I then took from Cyprus to London to LA now.
Okay. And when did you start then? I mean, what is your origin? Can you take a little bit back?
Yeah. So I started One Shot while I was still a student. I was in London at Bayes Business School.
Studying marketing?
Studying business and marketing.
Okay.
And I started One Shot over the summer. It was just a little brainchild of mine. Made a few samples and then started off from there. Then from One Shot, I went kind of before I finished my degree as well. Everyone could kind of see my marketing skills through that. So I got my first job at Barry's Bootcamp.
Which is, if somebody doesn't know?
Barry's Bootcamp is an American franchise, but it is basically a HIIT training boutique fitness class. There's 180 studios throughout the world. It's an American franchise, so we were the UK base. And I was in the marketing department for both events and then also campaigns. So we would do a lot of local campaigns from collaborations with other gyms, collaborations with clothing brands, protein companies, stuff like that.
Question: how did you decide to go and study business and marketing in London, and business marketing specifically, and what drove you to that?
I think I was always a bit of a business mind. So even like at the age of 12, I started a YouTube channel with a baking show. So I think it was always that like entrepreneurial mindset of I'm going to start something of my own. I never thought I would like work for someone, to be honest. And I was like, okay, what do I study? Let's just study that and see where it takes us. Marketing was like my more creative streak. So I was like, instead of just going to do marketing or graphic design or something like that, let's a bit more niche. I kept it general.
Do you think this kind of mindset, like the business mindset, is something that you grow into or something that you're born with?
I think you were born with it. Because even if you're surrounded by it all the time, like if you take siblings, for example, there's some siblings that are like, they're both entrepreneurial and that's great. But then there's people that are like, you grow up with the same background, looking at the same things, but some just have it and some just don't. So I feel like you're born with it.
Yeah, I think so too. And maybe you have some reinforcement, let's say, since young age, and you want to pursue it more. But I think some people
just have it.
Yeah. And some people, they are just unemployable. You know, it's very hard to work somewhere, so they want to create their own stuff.
To be honest, I read this thing that said entrepreneurs are the worst employees to have because you can't put them in their place. You can't tell them what to do. Like their mind just wants to do it the way they want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, and they ask a lot of questions. Okay, why this? Why this? Why this? Yeah. Okay, and then you decided to go to London.
Yeah.
How is the business scene in London? I mean, did you get a lot of the things you were expected to get, or how was the whole experience?
It wasn't what I expected. I learned a lot. It was definitely a crash course in life. I worked in London for 2 years. So I was at Barry's, and then I was in parallel with their sister brand, Hermosa, which is a protein company. So with both, Hermosa being a startup and then Barry's being a franchise, I think I got a really good knowledge of how to operate in both. Obviously, in startups, you have a lot more autonomy, a lot more creative control. You can take a lot more risks. Whereas in a franchise, you kind of have to follow certain things by the book, which is also like, it gives you a lot of structure in how to operate your business. So I learned a lot. But I reached a point where my entrepreneurial side was like, I can't be an employee anymore. And I wanted to change. Like I wanted to leave London. London was like rainy, depressing, that weather part. And I got an opportunity to go to Harper's Bazaar in Dubai. So completely different field. You're going into like from a fitness brand to an editorial. But I'm like, I think the place is more fitting for me. So I then went to Dubai for about 6 months. I worked at Harper's, learned a lot of other things about media, kind of the more creative sides. But again, it wasn't fitness. So 6 months later, I was like, this isn't for me. Amazing place. I might come back, live here, completely open to it. But again, let's go focus on one shot. That was my brain was like, let's go and just focus on your own stuff. And that's kind of the point where I was leaving Dubai. I was going back to London. I didn't want to move back to Cyprus.
May I ask why?
It's a very small place.
Yeah.
You can create, for sure, but you have limitations. So I was like, okay, how do I either need to create something really cool in Cyprus or I need to go as far away as possible. So at that point, I had applied for an MBA at UCLA. And I had also applied for the license to do the first event on Molos in Cyprus.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
How easy it is to apply for a license like that in Cyprus? Because we see a lot of things are stalling, right? And you're 22 at the time, 23?
I was 23.
23 at the time.
Yeah.
So how easy it was for you to like go through the process?
It wasn't fast, that's for sure. So I had submitted an application, got no reply, started calling people, was getting some sort of reply. I showed up to the municipality, had a meeting with them. They were like, this was like in June. This was June 2023. Had a meeting with them. Everything sounded great. But they were like, oh, it's a new event. We need to, like, you're basically they said you get the last pick. So if the dates are available and if other people don't want to do it, then you can do it.
Okay.
So in my head, I was like, forget it. I'm just going to go to UCLA and I'm going to do my MBA and that's fine. Around December, I got my acceptance into UCLA and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. 1 week later, get an email from the municipality. Your license has been approved. And I'm like, what do I do?
It's funny how life works sometimes, huh?
Yeah. It was crazy because I'm like, where I thought I had no options, I now have 2 options and everyone was telling me I need to pick. Me being me, I was like, I'm not going to pick, I'm going to do both. So I was like, great, let's proceed with the event. The dates are fine, confirmed. UCLA, yeah, let's pack our stuff and go. So the UCLA course was going to start in January. What I ended up doing was I spoke to the board at UCLA and I was like, listen, I have an event in Cyprus in April, so I'm going to need to come back. And they said, why don't you come and do this course instead and then postpone your MBA, which is exactly what I did. I went to LA in January and I came back on the 18th of March. Those 3 months, I was in LA doing the course, working because a part of my course was a placement at New Balance and also planning Heatwave. So it was an intense 3 months, let's say.
Sounds interesting, I would say.
Yeah. Everyone was like, it's not possible. You're delusional. What are you doing? And I was like, well, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. In the beginning, they called you delusional and then they called you genius, right?
Exactly. And they were like, oh my God, look what you did.
But how did you, at that 3-period month, how did you handle the pressure, the unknown? Because you didn't know. You were moving from London, right?
Yeah.
To California, 2 different places. So most people need at least 4 to 6 months to adapt in a new place. And then you had this new, very big opportunity that you didn't know if it's going to work or not in Cyprus. And then you had to go through the course as well. So a lot of new things all at once. How did you handle the pressures? How did you handle the whole situation?
I think I work well under pressure. And I think I function better. I'm much more of a high performer when I have a lot on my plate than if I have one thing on my plate. So I think I would segregate my day. I'd be like, okay, this morning I'm working on Heatwave, then I'm working on the course, then I'm going to go out a bit and then I'm coming back at night and I'm going to study for the uni or for whatever I had planned for like the work placement. So I segregated my days. It was a lot of pressure. There was days where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing? Or I'd be like, you're going to go to the event and there's not going to be any people. Like, who's going to come? What if I set everything up and then there's no one there? But it was a risk I was willing to take. I think if you don't risk, you don't get. And then rather than live a life where you wouldn't know what it would end up like, I'd rather just risk it. If I fall flat on my face, I do. You get back up and you move on.
Yeah, never try, never know, right?
Exactly.
That's what they say.
Exactly.
And like for me, like I relate 1000% to what you said, because for me, not knowing how will something turn out, it's much worse than trying and not succeeding, you know? And because when you try and you don't succeed, at least you know what went wrong and you can try again, you can pivot things and you can change things and eventually it will work, you know? But if you didn't try and you stayed in the what if,
you never know.
Yeah.
Every failure is one step closer to success. So fail more, succeed more.
Yeah. But with that being said though, as you grow, a lot of opportunities come your way as well.
Yeah.
So you have to have the filter to say no to some opportunities, right?
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Saying no is a very big struggle for me, I have to say. Especially after this heat wave, there was a day where my phone rang 8 times and all 8 people asked me to do an event together. And honestly, it was overwhelming. I was sitting there and I was like, what do I do? Like, am I going to say no to this person? Am I going to say no to that person? Would this be a good opportunity? Would it not? And then you're like, okay, hold on. You have your brand's reputation at risk right now. Whatever you do that doesn't represent you is tarnishing your image. So what's actually representing you? What's growing in the direction that you want to grow in? Because realistically, only I know what the end goal is, where I'm heading. So all these people might think it's a great collab, and like in their eyes it might be, and for their brands it definitely would be. But what's gonna embed what I'm gonna do in the future right now? So you kind of have to suck it up, kindly say, it's not the direction we're heading in. We don't have the capacity, which is true. Like we are a small team. It did start off as a one-woman show, but like even now we're overworked. So you can only put your assets into certain pockets. Like you have to pick where you're putting your time and your effort and your money.
Yeah, and it's very important to know, to have an identity, right? And to know, okay, if I say this opportunity, yes to this opportunity, it might take me to a different round. So I have to stick to
Exactly.
the path. So it's very important to know who you are.
Who you are.
And who your brand is.
Yeah.
And okay, you decided to do the Heatwave. Mm-hmm. How the idea started?
So it was a little bit inspired by Barry's bootcamp. We had done a pop-up in Ibiza where it was a 3-month summer pop-up. We had literally picked up everything as it is in the studio, treadmills, benches, weights, as it was, and shipped it over to Ibiza for the summer. And it was at Destino Pacha. And I remember being on the bench with the weights above my head, looking at the sun with the sea in front of me. And I'm like, this is cool. But like, side note, I'm not the biggest fan of Ibiza. I was like, this would be so much cooler in Cyprus. And that's where I was like, imagine like Molos, which is an iconic location, palm trees on top of you, like sea in front of you, just active people all around. I'm like, imagine that there. So that's how it started. And then when I actually went to Molos and looked at the place, I was like, this is huge. Like I could do so much more than just one class. I had also been to a few expos in Dubai. So I went to Dubai Active. I went to Balance Festival back in London. And again, I felt like the expos had all the right people there, but it wasn't fun. It felt very staged. It felt very like boxed up, forced. And I was like, imagine if this was like a fun thing. You had, yes, all the brands, all the gyms, all the partners there, but like with a fun twist. And that's kind of how I started building the idea. Then obviously year by year, you grow, you see what works, what doesn't, what people like, what the highlights were. You kind of expand on those sectors.
Mm-hmm. So when you came up with the idea, did you write down like a plan or did you just started doing things? What was the structure?
It was a lot of mind mapping.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Barry's. And I'm like, okay, what else can I add? And I was like, okay, spinning bikes. I could add Pilates. I could add yoga, boxing. Like my initial plan had a boxing ring right in the middle for one shot, actually. It was all one-shot gloves. They're still like always one-shot gloves. But it was more on the boxing side than anything, to be honest. Like it was like boxing boot camp, spinning. And then you kind of see demand and you're like, okay, boxing isn't that big in Cyprus. At least not on the fitness side, like boxer size. So you reduce that space. Then you add more Pilates because that was popular. Then this year we brought reformers. So you kind of see what the market needs and adjust it. Obviously, we're going to localize in other locations as well. Like it depends on what people are more into. But it started off like that. Just a big brain dump.
Yeah. So from what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, it's very important to get the inspiration for an idea of somewhere. But even if it works in a different country, you have to be able to adapt it in the culture of the place that you're going to do it, right?
Exactly.
Because one thing that might go perfectly in somewhere in California, let's say Miami or whatever, you might come to Cyprus and it might be a whole different thing, right? So you have to be able to adapt in these scenarios. You have to be able to adapt.
You have to also be aware of what the market is ready for. So I think when I did come with the idea of Heatwave, the market was kind of ready, but not as ready as it is this year. So I had to go through the hustle of explaining to people what a fitness festival is. Like you have to think that if you're going into a new market that has never seen anything like it before, you also need to be aware that you need to educate people. Like I remember sitting there in front of a camera and just saying, you're going to have this and this and this and this. And then people were like, what? How does that work? And I'm like, well, you trust the process. You'll see it. Obviously, after you do the first one, then you have your videos and your content to show. But yeah, the first time around, you have to spend a lot of time and energy educating people.
And convincing people, right?
Exactly.
And when it comes to convincing partners, let's say sponsors, vendors, how did you handle this situation? Because I know in Cyprus, a lot of brands are very skeptic of how they give their money. Did you have like a plan before that, or you just started calling people?
So I did have a pitch deck, where I was like, okay, I'm just going to send this to everyone and see how it goes. Obviously, if you send an email in Cyprus, it'll take a while to be seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, then persistence. Like you call the company and you're like, can I speak to the marketing manager? You pitch them the idea. You obviously customize each pitch in a way that would benefit the company and yourself. But definitely the first year, it was like whoever trusted it because they knew me and how I operate. Second year, obviously it was easier, and third year even easier because you have the facts and the dates to show them. But it's your personal brand that sells it the first time around.
And everything comes back to the personal brand part, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in yourself and believe in the idea that you're trying to sell, people won't buy it, you know?
Yeah.
And if it's one thing to be good at convincing, but you have to convince yourself first.
Yeah.
And
you also have to know your product. Yeah. I think the reason it comes naturally to me is because I am my client. Like I'm creating what I would love to attend. The reason I created it was because I was disappointed with all the other ones. So it's easy for me to sell it because I truly believe in it and live and breathe it.
Yeah, exactly. It would be very different than, let's say, somebody takes example of the Heatwave now and say, okay, this thing looks huge, looks profitable. I'm going to try to do the same thing. But he never attends to classes. He never goes to gym. He doesn't know this kind of mindset.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as successful because he or she won't be the ideal client of it. You know?
Even if they have the numbers and the audience, the quality won't be there. I actually have an experience where someone who runs a fitness festival in a different country, I was talking to them and I'm like, so what's your favorite gym? Like, where should I go train? They're like, I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, I don't know. I don't go to these places. And I'm like, so how are you meant to sell it? Like, who are you bringing in? If you don't know who you're bringing in, like I would never bring an instructor whose class I never took. Like I remember last year there was an instructor that looked good and I'm like, before I even approach him or talk to him, I need to go try his class. Because if I don't know, then I'm not just going to sell something that I don't believe in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to be your own ideal client. I will keep that.
Basically, yeah.
And okay, you came to Cyprus.
Mm-hmm.
You're already building the first Heatwave while being in California. Then you came to Cyprus. You've done it. What was the aftermath feeling?
The aftermath was, because I told you, the first time around, you have their doubts. I'm like, am I going to be there? No one's going to come. Obviously, it went a lot better than I expected. So the aftermath was like, okay, this went well. We need to do it again. Meanwhile, I hadn't quit any of the other things I was doing, to be honest. So I was still contemplating the idea of the MBA. I was still running One Shot. I had just launched, like I had moved over all my stock from London to LA. I'd found a store at the Beverly Center where we stocked all the One Shot stuff. So I had that in my head as well. I was like planning on sending over new pieces and stuff like that. And I knew that Heatwave had to be repeated. So this time around, I was like, okay, let's do 6 months of proper planning, get it done right. Again, one woman show. Like I didn't have any help for year 2 either.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So year 1 and 2 was just 100% me and my laptop.
So one person business, huh?
Yeah.
It's possible?
I mean, not anymore. Not if you want to grow. But for a start, it's the low risk way of also, when you love what you do, you kind of have a bit of a control issue. So it's hard to like trust people and give off responsibilities. Obviously, like at some point you have to. There's no other way to grow. You have to kind of let go. But yeah, the first 2 years it was intense. It was me, myself, and I. Plus, I was also doing marketing for clients in the UK. I was doing marketing for another event in Cyprus as well, which was like a music event. So it was a lot of just solo work, let's put it that way.
How did you, because I struggle with the same thing as well. I like doing a lot of things. If I only have my mind in one thing, at a certain point it will get boring. Yeah. You know? And so
it's the ADHD brain.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been diagnosed, but it sounds like I have it. Sounds like I have it. So for me, it's very hard to prioritize sometimes, you know.
Okay.
Now, for example, I have this window, I have to focus on this. Then I have to focus on this. How do you prioritize and say, okay, I have to focus on this part first and then go to the next and then go to the next, because you have a lot of things juggling going all at once.
So to be honest, this is always like, I know what I have to do, but usually the high priority things are the parts you don't want to do. It's like that difficult phone call or the long, boring accounting, taxes, all of that stuff. God. So like there are certain things where obviously you delay them because you don't procrastinate as such. You just kind of put them to the side because you're like, I know it's important, but I don't want to do it right now. I would leave it to the last moment where it's like, I need to do it by the last hour, I would do it. And then this year, what I did was I hired a PA about a month before the third heat wave. And I was like, okay, I need to do this thing. You're going to have to literally drive me crazy till I get it done, but don't stop telling me about it. So that was my coping mechanism. It was like, okay, she's got to tell me about like 10 times today, but don't let me go home if I don't do it.
Okay.
So that's my new way of doing it. It's like, I know it needs to be done. It's boring. I don't want to do it. But if someone reminds me 5 times a day, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it so she can shut up.
So accountability is very important. Right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I have my partner for that. So.
Yeah, you see? You need someone to just kind of kindly remind you every 5 minutes so you just do it.
Yeah. And especially when you have to differentiate between tasks you like and tasks you don't like.
Exactly.
You keep doing the tasks you like, but you have to do the other stuff as well, right? How do you, now that you've grown, how is it for you to hire people and start outsourcing or sharing this idea with other people? Is it easy or not?
It's not easy. It's not easy to find good people that want to work. That's the first issue. I was very lucky to find one, which was the first one. And then now we're in the process of hiring more people. But we've got 3 interns right now. I said I'll take it slow, give them internships, give them the chance to try doing certain things, which if they mess up, it's not life or death. And then test them out and see who's worth bringing on board. Because people can look great on paper, but when it actually comes down to it, then you might see the work and think this is not going anywhere.
Yeah, especially when pressure builds up, right?
Yeah. That's the testing point. I think at the festival, whoever can survive the festival can survive anything. This year, like, okay, I've had certain people that have been like either friends or colleagues from the UK or from like, that I used to know who actually fly in every year to help on the day, like on that weekend. They know back to front exactly how everything operates. And I know that if they were going to work on it like long term, they would be amazing and they would thrive because they can handle the festival. Like now with all the interns and all the newbies, the biggest test of if they can grow with the company is, can you handle the heat of Heatwave? Like if you can handle that, you can handle anything. If you can handle customers coming and complaining about stupid things, or if you can handle someone passing out because it's too hot or whatever might happen on the day, then yeah, you're pretty much set.
Yeah, and you as a person, you go from do it all to now I have to manage people to do everything.
Yeah.
Was that transition easy for you or no?
I think yes, just because I'm used to managing people, if that makes any sense. Like growing up as well, like I always had an entrepreneurial family, so I know how businesses run. And when there's someone that I can actually trust to delegate something to, of course, there's certain things which are your aesthetic and there's certain things where you have to be strict on. But then also if you're trusting this person to do this thing, you need to kind of trust them. You can't micromanage everything.
So it sounds like you need to give autonomy to that person so they can perform, right?
You need to let them perform. And also the person you're hiring should be also live and breathe the brand. So if they do, then they also have their own customer view on certain things, which you should hear out. Not saying you should always listen to it, but you should always hear it out.
And as you grow, do you create like any systems that help you like go back if something doesn't work or you have a setback? Do you have like systems, okay, I have to do this and this, so you start working on it, or it's just figure it out as you go?
I think because it does constantly change, you do figure it out as it go along. But I always have this thing of every week or every 2 weeks, we do a review. So what did we do this week? How did it benefit us? Did it benefit us? Should we stop focusing our efforts on something? And then kind of reassess. So it's a constant assessment. It's not like you're going to go 6 months going in the wrong direction and then have the realization of, oh, what are we doing?
Okay, and after the first one, you started already building the next one, and like you worked the whole year for the next event?
Pretty much 6 months.
6 months.
It was the 6 months before. Now we're working all year just because we're growing rapidly.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what are the plans? You said growing before as well. Can you share?
Of course.
Yeah.
So we started off with, one festival a year. Last year we did a small event in New York and we did the main festival in Cyprus. Next year we're doing 3 festivals and 2 side events. So we have Dubai in March, we have Cyprus in April, and then we have November, Los Angeles. So we're expanding to 2 continents that we've never been in before. We've now got people working in LA. We've actually got an intern in Dublin. And then we've also got someone in Dubai as well.
Yeah. So you don't just grow in steps, you grow in huge leaps. Huh?
Yes. But I think it happened with the festival as well. Like the numbers, if you compare year 1 to year 2, they doubled up. If you compare year 2 to year 3, we tripled up. Wow. So this year we're tripling the number of festivals.
Damn. And may I ask why LA and Dubai? I think I know that it's just bad.
Yeah. Heatwave has to be in front of the sea with the palm trees, right? So that's the aesthetic. We need the setup. Both places do have the setup, but they're also both places which I know and love. And I also know they have a very strong fitness community. So when we came to Cyprus, the advantage was different. We had the setup and the lifestyle, which was similar to LA. But we didn't necessarily have the clients that were ready to absorb. So they weren't really used to these things. Whereas in Dubai, they are used to these things. There are activities, there are other expos and stuff like that, but they're missing the quality of the product. So when you go into a market where you have all the resources, you have the clients, you have the demand, and you're just missing the product, it's a much easier sell in terms of all your conditions are set up in an ideal way. So if you can succeed in a place where you have none of the conditions, it's hard to find equipment. It's hard to get sponsors. It's hard to convince people. That's where you'll thrive. And that's where you'll see the true potential of the festival. Same with LA. Like LA is where everything in the fitness industry roots from. If you go back down to bodybuilding, Gold's Gym, if you go to Barry's Bootcamp was founded in LA. So everything I live and breathe started from that place. So bringing it all together is genuinely a dream come true.
Yeah, but I assume in those places you have different kinds of competition, though, no?
For sure. I like competition.
I can't tell.
Competition is healthy. And I also think each competition has its own vision. So what another fitness festival in LA will offer is not necessarily what I'm going to offer. And we also don't necessarily have the same target market. So I have a very niche target. I prefer quality over quantity. I don't want to have 100,000 people in one place. I don't care because the quality is not going to be there. I want to have the proper quality of trainers where everything is done scientifically backed. Everything is set up in a way that it's professional. I want to give you the experience you would get in a gym, but in that festival. I don't want it to I want it to be a proper workout. A lot of these places just give you like a little teaser of what it could look like, but it's not actually a quality workout. Whereas at Heatwave, like I go to do one class and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. But yeah.
Yeah, and when I came this year and I saw like the trades and everything, everybody was so into it, you know. They were actually there to help people work out, you know. They didn't just were there to be there. And that means a lot, you know. You don't just pay to be the festival, pay to go work out, which is the main thing. Yeah.
You pay to go work out, and also you have instructors from all over the world. So it's like, who in Cyprus would have thought that they would train with Julius Burfee, who they've been following for I don't know how many years, in their home country. And that's the same thing we want to do internationally. Like when I go to the US, I'm going to bring European trainers that people in the US might look up to, but they don't have access to that.
But how do you reach out to these people, if you don't mind me asking? Like you find somebody that you want to work with them? It's
either through connections or through cold calls. I mean, you're one no away from a yes.
Yeah. Do you have any doubts when you do these kind of things? Do you have like limited beliefs or like the imposter syndrome, or you just go for it?
Imposter syndrome. Yes, of course. When you have a team, it helps with imposter syndrome because you have a group of people who really believe in you. And you're like, okay, they must see something. I can't be crazy. Whereas when the first 2 years where it was a one-woman show, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm a 25-year-old girl and I'm just suddenly reaching out to all these people and convincing them. And like, am I legit? Like, is it going to work? Am I going to fail someone? I also had this thing of, what if I fail someone? And everyone was like, what do you mean? You're not failing anyone. Like, just keep going. But when you have a team that's genuinely like looks up to you, supports you, and sees your vision and works hard for it, it helps. It helps with the doubts.
Yeah, that's good to know. Because I think sometimes other people might believe in you more than you believe in yourself, you know?
For sure.
Especially when you try to do something new in a new market and you don't know if it's gonna work or not. But
yeah.
But do you get confidence from doing things and see that they're working, and then you get momentum?
Yeah, I think exactly what you said, momentum. So like there's what we were talking about before, where there's certain tasks that you want to not delay, but you just don't feel like doing. So like when there's a hard conversation to do, I feel like I do all my hard tasks in the morning. So it's like I'm going to wake up and I'm just going to start. It's like, I don't want to do this thing. Let's do the first thing I don't want to do. And then once you start doing them, you're like, it wasn't as bad as I envisioned. So I think it's that, like that momentum builds up depending on how you start your day as well.
Exactly. How do you start your day? What's your routine now? Because I know you've been traveling, I know you're doing a lot of things. Yeah. Do you keep some things constant? Do you have some rituals? How do you keep yourself at the level that you can perform at all times?
My morning routine is always just gym first, shower, and then start working. So once you get, that's like my relaxation. I feel like my brain kind of switches on. And then wherever I am, like if I'm in the UK, I'll go to Soho House, sit work from there. If I'm here, I'll go to the office. If I'm in LA, like I'll drive to the cafe where I always work from. So I structure my day like that. It's like the constant is always the gym in the morning, then work, obviously. But I'll also like, I'll section off days. So like there's laptop days, there's more social days, there's more networking days. So you kind of see what you need to focus on also depending on where you are. Like when I was in LA, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to try a ridiculous number of workouts because I'm like, I need to try them to see if they're good and worth reaching out to for Heatwave. So there was a day where I did 3 Tracy Anderson workouts and then I went to Barry's in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that was just a research day. That was literally market research day.
4 classes in a day.
Yeah, pretty much. Then the next day I was like, okay, I can do 1 workout in the morning and then like actually get some work done.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you, if you feel overstimulated or like close to a burnout or whatever, how do you zone out? How do you have any?
I'm not the best when it comes to burnouts. So I do get burnouts and I usually don't listen to my body when it's like, you know, when it gives you those signs and you're like, you're about to crash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
usually ignore those signs.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Like 10 days ago, pretty much, I had a burnout actually. Within one day, I did a ridiculous amount of things. And then the next morning I woke up and I'm like, I can't get up. I didn't get out of bed until 11, which for me is, I wake up at 5:30 every morning.
Every morning, huh?
Yeah. Wake up at 5:30, I'm at the gym by 6. 5 a.m. club. Yeah. But I was like, for me, that was the first sign of, okay, something's wrong. And then obviously like brain fog, dizziness, felt heavy. And I was like, okay, this is not going well. Spent the whole day pretty much on the sofa, going from my bed to the sofa. And then recently, IV drips. IV drips have been my savior.
Really?
Yeah. Next morning, multivitamins, hydration, electrolytes, water. Took like 3 days to actually get myself back on. But again, I feel like once I do make that switch and I'm back on it, full force, no breaks.
Wow. Yeah, but it's good that you know what works on you and whatnot. Right?
Yeah, it would be better if I listened to the signs and I didn't resort to that. But I feel like sometimes it's just, there's high stress periods where you're like, I need to focus and get this done. And nothing, you will listen to nothing, including your body saying, calm down. And then there's periods where you can actually take a step back and be like, okay, for this week, let's take it easy. Let's actually recover, recharge, kind of not function less, but I feel like when you do take a step back, you also see the bigger picture.
That's
so you can get a lot more creative. You can think about where you're going, where you're heading, re-strategize, think of new ideas, obviously new business plans, which always come about. But taking that time always helps.
Yeah, and sometimes we are so deep into the day-to-day that you forget to take a step back and see like the bigger picture. Right?
Yeah.
And that might be a day, that might be 3 hours of not doing nothing and just thinking of the future or like reviewing some stuff. It's tough, you know?
It's a constant struggle of how to balance, I think.
Yeah. Were you like forever this discipline and this into fitness, or it was something that changed gradually in your life?
I was, to be honest. I think pretty much from the age of 14, I was disciplined with the gym. But when I went to London, I got the obsession because it's, the places you have, it's not your average gym. You're not just going to go to a gym and do a personal training workout and go home. You have access to a lot cooler activities and a lot like better facilities. So I think that's where I got the itch. Also, I was walking a lot. So it was like, okay, 10K steps before breakfast, then you're going to go to uni, then you're going to like go get this healthy thing. And then I remember my workouts then were at 9 p.m. So it was an end of day workout, but I remember I would not miss a 9 p.m. workout. And everyone was like, people are going out and you're going to the gym. And I was like, yeah, that's what I prefer.
That's very important, you know, and when you work out and when you have this kind of lifestyle, it's easier to be more productive, I think, and strive to your goals.
Yeah, I think when you're disciplined in your fitness and your well-being and your health, then that also kind of develops in the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think they are probably they're directly related, you know. If you are disciplined in the gym and your nutrition or whatever, everything else falls in place, I think, at least from my perspective. I might be wrong.
I think especially like nutrition-wise, it also helps your brain function. Like, I don't know about you, but if I eat something heavy at night, I'll wake up and I'll feel groggy. Whereas if I follow my nutrition like as I do or as I would ideally have it, then everything else also, like you feel lighter, you move better, your brain functions better, you're more switched on.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be, like a few years ago, I used to be in that obsessive phase. I had to eat every 2 hours, my chicken, my rice everywhere, I got my Tupperware everywhere. Yeah. And I had different goals. I wanted to look good, but I wasn't feeling healthy. I was feeling very lethargic. Okay. I didn't have productivity, you know, and so nothing else was working out except me in the gym.
Except
you know?
the views.
Yes. And now I have a whole different perspective. I just want to eat stuff that make me feel better. I want to be able to work more and be more productive, have the cognitive ability to handle different situations throughout the day. So I realized how important it is for me, like, to eat good food, fast when I need to, you know, not just eat every 2 hours because I need the protein, you know. And a lot of things changed when I started doing that, you know. And now I feel more healthy, I feel more productive. And actually, when it comes to performing better in the gym, it's not that significant difference, you know, I think.
I have a question for you. You said fast. Do you do fasting?
I don't know if it's called fasting, but I skip breakfast, basically. Okay. And I eat lunch when it's time for lunch. I mean, I don't count the hours. Yeah. But I definitely stopped eating the morning because I was the kind of person, before I left the house, I had to eat 6-7 eggs, oatmeal and stuff. Yeah. Now I don't do anything, just coffee, water, creatine, because it helps a lot with my mind. And then when I eat at lunch, I eat at lunch, you know.
To be honest, same thing. Like, I used to wake up every morning and be like, I have to eat breakfast. And I was hungry. Like, I was a morning person, I was a breakfast person. But I feel like when I fast in the morning, my day flows better.
Absolutely.
I do the same thing. Like, I have coffee and water. And then I'll have lunch when I'm hungry. It could be 12 o'clock, it could be 3 p.m., like whenever I'm hungry.
Exactly. The same thing. And same thing with night as well. You know, sometimes I eat around like 10, 11 or whatever time I go home. I don't say, okay, now it's too late and because I'm going to bed, I'm not going to eat anything.
Exactly.
I'm going to eat when I want to eat.
Yeah.
And generally, it falls under the
intuitive eating.
Yeah. And the macros I need to take over the day, and the calories I need to take over the day. But I think this is something that comes after you try a lot of things and after you know yourself a lot. You know,
that's true. I think when you know your body, you train your own body. Like I feel like when I train myself, I'm at my prime because I know that, you know what, today your energy is not matching that, so you're going to do a lighter day, or you're going to do lighter weights, or you're going to do more of like mobility. Other days you wake up and you're like, I'm full of energy, I need to run. Whereas whatever program you have, if someone just gives you a blank program, you're like, great, looks good on paper, but does it work for my body? No.
Exactly. Probably not.
Yeah.
If you had to choose one class to do for the rest of your life, and that's it, the same class, which one you would be?
It would be a bootcamp class. Barry's bootcamp, Jason's 8:20 every Tuesday.
Really?
Yes. That was a very easy answer for me.
What do you do in that class?
It's a legs on Tuesdays. I said Tuesday. On Tuesdays, it's lower focus. But it's treadmills and weights. Bench, I usually get 12.5 dumbbells, but it's very simple in terms of equipment. But the structure is so nice that it's not monotonous. It's not like you're not going to do 100 reps of the same thing. Like he'll give you one round of, let's say, lunges, but he'll do alterations. So it'll be 12 reps with backward lunges, 12 reps with forward lunges, 12 reps with side lunges, and it'll alternate. So it's like you never actually get bored because you're never doing the same thing again and again. Also his energy, like on the microphone, like I think when you're training, the music and the energy of the room plays a huge role.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you work out without music?
No. I have, unfortunately, but yeah.
Yeah. And what do you usually listen
to? It's usually UK garage, heavy rap, or hip hop.
Okay.
Preferably UK garage.
What's that? I don't know. I have to be honest.
Yeah. UK garage is very not our generation. It's very like people in their 40s would listen to UK garage. UK garage was born in AION, believe it or not.
Okay.
It's something between grime and garage. It's
okay. I have to check it out.
Yeah, check it out. But you'll get it because it's so upbeat. It's kind of like the upbeatness of a techno house vibe, but with the R&B hip hop twist. It's the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm interested. I want to know. So, okay, let's go back a little bit to our conversation with Heatwave and everything you do. What's the big picture for you, like the ideal goal? If you could describe me your life in 5-10 years from now, how would that look like?
Heatwave is what I want to build as a global community, not just online, but offline as well. So obviously the offline are the festivals where I want Heatwave to be traveling. So it would be one in Singapore, one in Miami, one in Dubai, one in London, like everywhere around the globe that is a hub for fitness, to have a festival once a year. And then I also want to grow the online community to be a bridge between all the online creators and people you look up to, whether they're athletes, whether they're nutrition specialists, whether like whatever they would be in that industry. But getting to know them a little bit better. Not necessarily like something strict of like, oh, here's a guide on how to eat. But let's say you follow Delicious Liela. Get a little piece of who she is, why she does what she does. What can you learn from her? And I want all of this to be under Heatwave's umbrella. So
building a community, basically.
Yeah. Global community around fitness, beauty, health, wellness, longevity. All of this is kind of all the stuff that I stand for and I believe in. Mm-hmm. And I just want it to be the umbrella for everything that falls under that.
And because you're a person that I think likes to see in the future, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to come in the future of wellness and fitness? How do you think things will change in the future?
So I definitely see the shift between people have gone from the hardcore training, from the competitions, from the kind of more competitive aspect of fitness into more of the obviously community based, but also the slower pace. So what we were saying before about maybe not counting all your macros, but eating intuitively. So yes, focusing on your well-being, but not in that strict boxed up mindset anymore, and more in the, I'm not on a diet, I'm taking care of myself. So I see a lot of people shifting towards that. Obviously the slower, the prolonging their life, taking care of themselves. A lot of people have stopped drinking. So yeah, it's the electrolyte shots over vodka shots at this point.
Or matcha shots.
Exactly. Matcha over coffee, which that's a whole other debate. But yeah.
Okay, what do you think? What's your favorite?
Coffee.
Yes, of course.
I'm a coffee lover.
Yeah.
And I think coffee is good for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, there are studies to show that coffee has a lot of health benefits.
Absolutely, I agree.
But yeah, I see a lot of people shifting towards in that direction, and even in competitions, like you've gone from people going to, for example, Athens Throwdown every year to going to High Rocks. What's the difference? You're not competing 1 versus 1. In High Rocks, a lot of people do partners. Why? Because it builds this emotional connection between them, where it's like we're working as a team, we're both working as one to achieve this goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you like to tell us a little bit about the new project that you're working on this period?
The longevity clinics?
Yeah.
Yes. So AION is a longevity center which is just opened in Limassol, and it is the only longevity center which is backed by doctors. So we are supported by doctors, and everything that is prescribed to you is by doctors. So whatever you have, it's not just you're going into a longevity clinic where, yes, we have IV drips, we have cryotherapy chambers, we have infrared saunas, we have salt therapy, we have all those machines. Yeah, we have those too. But you also have a doctor coming, looking at you and saying, okay, let's give you a 360 diagnostic test. Whether you're a woman who wants to check your hormones or an athlete who wants to check your VO2 max or whatever it would be, we're going to give you a full diagnostic test, see what it is you need, and then prescribe you with what it is you need within that center. Like, I'm not just selling you services. I'm testing you to see what you need so that I can prolong your life, and I can also help you perform better, live better, feel better.
So it's very customizable and very individualistic. Huh?
Exactly. It's a personal approach.
Yeah. And when you say testing, like what tests do you guys do? If you know that I'm asking.
There are so many tests,
Yeah.
but there's like, you can go from needing a blood test to needing a VO2 max test or to needing a scan. So there's like machines where there's cameras all over you and it can scan your whole body, see what your structure's like. It can be a nutrition test to check your body composition, your muscle mass, all of that stuff. It can be an oxygen test. It can be, yeah, there's a lot. It depends on what you're doing and what you're focused towards.
Wow. That's a great idea, and I think it's gonna really work. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit before we start as well, but I think that's the future as well. I agree with you. You know? It's
and I think everywhere, like not just, this is the start, kind of like Heatwave, where you start here, where it's a smaller scale, and then you expand. That's the vision.
Yeah, and by the way, you know what I realized with Cyprus? It's a very good market to test things.
Exactly.
And if they work here in Cyprus, they can definitely be easily scalable in some other countries.
Exactly.
I think, you know.
It's a perfect place to test things. It's exactly that.
Yeah. And okay, before I left to go to the States and stuff, a lot of people were telling me, a lot of young people were telling me, and I was probably one of them, that in order to have a career in Cyprus, you have to go overseas, live there a few years and then come back. What's your opinion on that?
I definitely agree. Not saying that you have to, but I think in Cyprus, we're in a bubble. If you never leave that bubble, you're never going to grow as a person. It's not so much so you can get experience or get ideas. It's so that you can grow as an individual. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to live there. Like, you could travel. But it changes the way you function. And I think a lot of the struggles that we have living abroad, because there are struggles that you wouldn't have in Cyprus. Like in Cyprus, we have a very easy life. Those struggles build character. And they teach you things, and they teach you how to operate in a way that brings more value to everything you do.
Yeah. And what would you say to a young person now, 16, 17, 18, they don't know what to do with their life? They think they would like to own a business one day, but they don't know how, they don't know if they are good enough, and all these limited beliefs. What would you say to them?
They don't know if they're good enough. I would say everyone has doubts. Everyone kind of has to trust the vision without knowing that it's going to work. So actually, I always quote this, but Matthew Priest, the editor-in-chief of Esquire in Dubai, when I had just gotten there and I was doubting myself and if I'm capable of doing the job I had signed up for, because it was a completely different field, it was a completely different job description. He was like, none of us know what we're doing. And I was looking at this man and I'm like, what do you mean? You know exactly what you're doing. He was like, none of us know what we're doing. We figure it out along the way. As long as you have the knowledge you need, the willingness to learn, the acceptance, and the work ethic, it's bound to lead you somewhere.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially this time and age, a lot of things are getting replaced by AI, and a lot of things, and a lot of skills people used to have are now not useful anymore.
Yeah.
I find out that it's very important more than ever to have life skills, like soft skills,
Yes.
And have good values, have work ethic, be adaptable, be coachable, the things you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Because if you have those, then you can learn anything else.
Exactly.
And with that, you can do anything else, I think.
In fact, 16, 17-year-olds now, I'm not going to say have it easier than us, but they can learn a skill so much faster because they can hop onto ChatGPT. How do I do A, B, and C? Teach me 1, 2, 3. And they can learn it overnight. We had to sit there and research and okay, how am I going to find this information? How am I going to find this? Should I sign up for a course? What should I do? So now, find what you're passionate about. Find your niche as an individual. What am I good at? What can I actually do that can provide value? And just start.
I agree 100%. But also, I've heard recently, Naval, he was telling about liking something and be passionate about something is it's very different. It can be very different than the thing that you're actually good at, because there are some things that you're gifted, let's say, or whatever you're born being good at. So find the thing you're good at and productize yourself, and then find things you like, something like that among those lines, because you might find something you like, but you might not be good at it,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to find an aspect of your skills that you like, though. Because, if I think back, at school I was good at accounting.
You were?
I was good at accounting. Okay. I got full marks in my A-level accounting.
Really?
I could never work in that industry. Never. So my hobby kind of became my job at the end of the day. But if I'd said to myself, you're good at numbers, go do numbers, where would I be now? In an office. I don't think that would work for me.
It probably means that I would.
Nah. I think I would escape quite fast.
Yeah. And what's the best piece of advice you ever heard or received?
Ooh. I would have quoted Matt again with no one knows what they're doing, but I've received a lot of advice. I think it would be, you're never too young to start. So when I started One Shot, I was doubting if I was old enough to start a business. I was like, but I haven't finished uni and I haven't. And they're the answer was, you're never too young to start. Ben Francis was, I think, 17 or 18 when he started Gymshark. So what's there to tell you that you're too young? So yeah, for the youngsters, definitely you're never too young, and it's also never too late to start something.
Absolutely. And another question I wanted to ask you earlier, what are some of the things you learned in your degree in London in business and marketing that definitely don't work in the real world? And what are some things that you actually were careful in your degree? I
think, let's start with the things that don't work. Most things. Most things. It's all theory. nothing in theory actually happens in practice. The best entrepreneurs are the ones that have not even studied or that have studied something completely different because they're not boxed up. What I did learn was more on the marketing side, and it was more the strategy, the strategic thinking, the structure. So a lot of people now who have marketing agencies or social media management or whatever, they're putting things out just to put it out, but there's no actual reason behind it. So I think that structure of, literally, I was training employees the other day and I wanted to pull out a textbook and be like, okay, this is the awareness funnel. These are the 4 Ps. This is the structure. So this is your unique selling point. So there's certain names and key phrases and things structurally that you do learn at uni, and they do make sense, and you do need to keep them top of mind. But apart from that, yeah.
And everything is pretty much trial and error, right?
It is. And also each business is different. Like the same thing won't apply to all businesses.
Do you think also proximity and time is important?
Definitely. Yeah. It's what I was saying about market readiness. Like it can be an amazing project in one country and not in another just because the market isn't ready for it. So your timing is very important.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Is there anything that you think we didn't discuss in this podcast and you wanted to share?
To be honest, I think we covered a lot. We did cover a lot. We covered.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a very insightful discussion.
Conversation.
You do so many things, and it's very important that what people tell me all the time, what I hear a lot of people tell me all the time, it's if you do a lot of things at once, you never be successful, because you have to focus on something. So now I have a reference example.
You have an example.
Ask Connie, okay?
Connie can do it all.
Yeah, so you're gonna be my role model. When somebody doubts me, if I do a lot of things, I'll tell them.
You do a lot of things as well, though.
I try.
You do. You have like all the different touch points as well. And I think the key is that everything we do is related. The one does relate to the next.
Exactly.
So it's not like we're in 100 different fields. Like if I was selling burgers and selling a fitness festival, then sure. Yeah, you can't be good at both. But when you're doing everything that kind of has synergies, I think that's the key to success.
Exactly. And what I tell them is, it's like having a big jigsaw puzzle with many different puzzles together. Mm-hmm. When you see the puzzle at once, like separately, you don't have any connection. But when you have the whole picture together, everything works out. Exactly. And everything falls under the same umbrella. So as long as I go with my values and it falls under the same umbrella, everything is for the same reason.
Exactly.
Even if it seems that I'm doing different things and they are not aligned together.
My why is the same. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. What's your why? Good question.
What's my why? It's my passion. It's genuinely my passion, and it's what fulfills me in life. It fulfills me to see people moving into fitness and wellness and taking care of themselves. It fulfills me to see it coming through a fun angle, but it also fulfills me to see people kind of improving their life. I've had so many people after Heatwave, and even after coming to the clinic, saying that, oh my God, you've changed my life. And I'm like, me? No. Me? I didn't do anything. And they're like, yeah, I met my best friend at Heatwave. Or I met my boyfriend at Heatwave. Or after Heatwave, I've been training every day. And I'm like, really? And they were like, yeah, I came and I tried this class and I've been going to this guy's gym for the past year. I even got a lot of like emails, paragraphs thanking us. And I was like, wow.
Really?
Yeah. That's my why.
And that must be very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Huh? Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you coming here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.